for that loss. That's what we were just talking about.
Oh, really?
Because I was asking him what's going to happen with it. That's a big deal.
Is it really a big deal?
Yeah. That's going to affect cow prices, which is going to affect meat prices, which affects the economy. It can make food more expensive, especially in the meat industry.
More like, where's the beef at, huh?
Pretty much, you're looking at, instead of getting steaks on the menu for when you go to the store, you're going to be looking towards fattier hamburgers and hot dogs.
Fattier?
Fattier hamburgers. A fatter ratio for hamburgers instead of a lean
No
meat.
stuff.
They'll lean towards a fattier meat instead of putting investment into do a leaner meat because it'll cost too much and they have to compensate for the loss of what's going on with cattle industry.
No shit.
So stuff like steaks, hiring cuts of loins, filet mignon, stuff like that will triple in price because the availability won't be there.
For real?
Yeah. It will double it could double up to triple in price because the availability won't be there. They're going to invest money in creating cheaper meats like hot dogs, bratwurst, sausage, meats that are easier to make. Instead of having an 85 to a 90% lean meat, the most you'll be able to get is maybe a 65. That's a fattier meat.
No shit.
Yeah, because it costs more to make a lean meat, and that's why it drives the price. It's healthier for you because it takes out the complex proteins within the meat itself.
No,
so it's healthier for humans because you're not storing that fat. When you have complex proteins, they're harder to break down. It takes more activity to break down the complex protein.
And you notice how?
So if you eat a leaner meat, you only have a disaccharide versus a trisaccharide, which is bigger. So you're more likely to gain more weight because you're only going to have access to these fattier foods because the industry's not going to produce them leaner meats because they got to compensate for the loss due to what's going on with the cattle industry.
Jordan, how much caffeine have you had today?
Hardly none.
Damn, really?
Yeah. No, that's what we were just talking about. That's a big deal. And then, of course, depending upon what happens in the next 2 weeks with the Supreme Court deciding these 3 main cases involving the cattle industry,
right,
that can drive prices, especially if they lean against the cattle people, the cattle herders and the cattle stock people. If it leans against them, that's going to drive beef prices up because that's going to add extra legislation to the FDA. And more regulations on everything from hormone treatment to antibiotics to disease prevention and isolation.
Hold
It's
that
going to
thought.
put more restrictions, which costs more.
Hold that thought.